Joining me now are NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell in Plains, and Jonathan Alter, who authored the only full-length biography of Jimmy Carter, His Very Best Life. So, Kelly, Joe Biden was especially close to Jimmy Carter. I know from my experience decades ago, I think he was the first senator to endorse Jimmy Carter's long-shot candidacy in 1976, despite the fact that many of Biden's senior Senate colleagues were already ready to jump into the race. So this is close and personal. This is not a pro forma message to them.
Very much so. And Joe Biden's history of friendship with the Carters is real, it is enduring, and it is certainly something that would play out in a time like this. And certainly the current president understands the enormity of this from all his own personal experiences with these kind of painful family times. It is really something to be back in Plains, Georgia. I've been here before, as you have, and this is a community that so embraces the Carters. It has been their home for so many years. The home where the former president is resting right now is not far from here. It's been their home for more than 60 years. Their roots are very deep here. And the community here knows the Carters very personally. They aren't historical figures here. They're neighbors. They're fellow churchgoers. They're part of the community. So there is a real sense here of how important the Carters are and have been to Plains, Georgia, and to the nation. And so this is a time when there are lots of thoughts of prayer and good wishes and concern, all of those things when you really get the sense of a family coming together. Certainly for President Carter, who has gone through many health challenges in the past and has been more formidable than people could have ever imagined at times, this was difficult news for many people to hear, that he made this decision, choosing to forego medical treatment, and we don't know what comes next. But we do know that there are good wishes coming from the current president, from other former presidents like President Clinton, who on this President's Day tweeted a photo of himself with President Carter, wishing him well. The Habitat for Humanity organization, where the Carters are so closely aligned, they also send good wishes. So it's a time of giving thanks and giving prayers and thinking about the Carters. Andrea?
And Jonathan, you got to know President Carter well over the years, over the decades, and of course in writing your book, spent so much time there. This decision is so typical of his grit, his determination, his deep religious convictions. I'm recalling that my last interview with her, I think on this program was in 2019 when he had just had a fall, had a horrible black eye, and yet he was out doing a Habitat for Humanity's construction project and doing an interview with me in the middle of all of that.
Well, it was actually worse than that, Andrea. At that time, in that fall, he suffered what's called a subdural hematoma. And that has impaired him in the 3 years since. It affected his vision, not his mind, but other parts of his functionality. And yet he was back out there with all those bruises on his face for one last Habitat for Humanity build. But to get a sense of what he's thinking right now, I think it's useful to go back to 2015, when he was diagnosed with metastatic melanoma that had spread to his brain. And it turned out that a drug called Keytruda saved his life, but he was prepared to die at that point, and talked to me and others about how he was at peace with the idea of meeting his maker, and that he felt he had led a full life and was ready. So I think that would reflect his views now, 7 years later.
Jonathan, I think of a couple of things. I first met him in 1972 on the floor of the convention when he was the governor of Georgia, and I was a local reporter covering the Pennsylvania delegation, and the governor then of Pennsylvania said, "You've got to meet my friend, the governor of Georgia. He's going to be the next nominee in 1976. Wow. And this was in Miami in 1972. So nobody was taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And then, I think about all of the interviews I've done and the trips, Haiti and Cuba, the places around the world when he was reporting in from Pyongyang and Jimmy Carter was there, and going public with his impressions of North Korea at the time, before he told the White House that President Clinton was not happy.
Oh, no, not at all.
I mean, you know some of the history there.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking about Rosalind, and they're such a team. And here in these, however long, they have together, at least on this earth, I keep thinking of how is she and how she will do.
Well, first of all, it's, I think, greatly appreciated that you would be saying this now. They have great respect and admiration for you, both professionally and personally. So my understanding is that this decision to go into hospice was precipitated by a recent illness for which he was hospitalized. But President Carter decided that he didn't want to spend any of his remaining time away from Rosalind. And when he was in the hospital, of course, she couldn't spend the night there with him. So he just decided that all of his remaining time would be with her. They've been married for almost 77 years. They have known each other since shortly after her birth. She was delivered by Jimmy Carter's mother, so they've known each other for more than 95 years, and they have a bond that is simply extraordinary, and will endure into eternity.
Well, it's so touching, and your understanding of him, your book is just magnificent. Thank you. Thanks to Kelly, my friend, for being there, and our love is with them.